All right, what's up, low rollers, and whoever else may possibly be watching this video?
Just wanting to know my thoughts.
Yeah, we want to know what
Star
Dean thinks about Star Wars. We've both seen it now. Obviously, there's going to be some spoilers, so if you're stumbling across this and you're like one of the 5 people who hasn't seen Star Wars yet,
spoiler alert, we're calling it now.
We're going to talk about it, guys.
So,
we're going to talk about it.
We are.
So, Dean, what did you think about Star Wars The Force Awakens?
I think this. First off, it was infinitely better than the prequel. That's going without saying. J.J. Abrams is a fine film director. However, in my opinion, he tries to be too cute with things. My case in point on this would be Star Trek Into Darkness. And I will admit that they kept the secret, perfectly hidden. I had no clue before going into it that the guy was going to be Khan. Mm-hmm. And you cannot play with a classic character such as Ricardo Montalban in playing that role. You can't do it. Don't even try. So even though I like, Benedict Cumberbatch or whatever you pronounce his last name, like the guy, fine actor, still no Ricardo Montalban. Hell, even watch the damn Naked Gun series. I loved him in that. But, he's trying to be too cute with it. Making Han Solo die, heartbreaking. However, Harrison Ford, bit old. I heard he only wanted to do one movie, which again is fine, makes no sense.
He actually, back in the day, didn't even want to be part of Return of the Jedi when they asked him to do that, because they thought, in Harrison Ford's opinion, he had said that the character arc was over, the character had run its course, they needed to kill him off. He wanted to die either at the end of Empire or the beginning of Jedi, so yeah.
Well, I think he's flat out wrong. He was an idiot. His stuff, he needed to be in it. He needed to be in all of them, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and what a lot of people have said about Harrison Ford specifically is he showed more life, and it seemed like for somebody who didn't want to be a part of the movie, I thought he did a pretty good job of. I mean, it looked like he wasn't phoning it in. He was acting. He was trying to...
Certainly trying to bring
like
the character and stuff. It did. Yeah. And stuff. So, again, great job, great guy. If you've ever watched anything else J.J. Abrams done, my biggest case in point would be Lost. They try to get so cute with things. At least, on his takes in the Mission Impossible movies, and at least the last one, Rogue Nation, which I really thought was one of the better ones of the franchise.
A lot of people really liked that one.
And stuff. He didn't. He tried to reboot it, but he stuck with what made the first couple really good. Actual Mission Impossible things. He didn't try to make it a story. He didn't try to make it a love story. He didn't try to bring in a close character. He made it that. So far, I'm happy with it. I didn't like the fact of the female character's name is already escaping me at the moment. Rey. She's barely new to the Force. She's already Jedi mind tricking people. She battles Kylo Ren to a draw. Hell, it took Luke Skywalker at least some months of training with Yoda before he could go up against Darth Vader, and he lost a hand. Okay?
Well, and I think at that point in Empire, Darth Vader was just kind of toying with him anyway.
Yes, I agree.
I think obviously Darth Vader wanted to turn him evil, or at least plant that seed. He didn't want to kill him yet.
Right.
Because he thought, maybe... Anakin and Luke, or Darth and Luke, however you want to look at it, could have, he says in Empire, together you and I can destroy the Emperor and rule the galaxy as father and son.
Yeah.
And then you get the, never! I'll never join you! Anyway. So you didn't like
I didn't like that. I did like Finn and Poe. I did like the chemistry between them. I think it needed more of that, it provided that's, something that takes more of a center stage in the next one. Yeah, I think it has a lot more potential. I also liked I liked the way Luke Skywalker looked at the end. I mean, the beard, the haggard look. He didn't say anything, which is probably for a good thing for Mark Hamill, unless he's doing voiceover work. But I really like the way that he looked. I think that in itself, is going to certainly propose or bring in some interesting questions. I think that was kind of a rip-off, a sellout, the fact of, oh yeah, we've got all the characters from the other one back, and you wait the whole movie waiting for a Luke Skywalker. You wait, and all you get is, a clip at the end, not even a word, not even a line. Wow, great. Thanks, JJ. And again, the stupid crap that he likes to pull. I'll still go back to Lost, the stupid smoke monster crap. Don't even get me started. And stuff. So, all in all, good. Loved it. I can't already wait to go see it, the second time. Yeah, I know. I'm shocked I've only seen it once already. And but yeah, I'm going again. I will see it again. We'll see it again probably a couple of times in theaters. I'll own it. I'll watch it. I'll wait impatiently for the next ones. But as of right now, I'm interested to see the spin-offs. That's actually really what I'm most interested to see in the whole thing. I think, I honestly believe, and again, I could be wrong, but I think he's basically going to kind of do a Wrath of Khan kind of thing with it, Into Darkness. It's going to be basically A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, just with a new set of characters. I really believe it's going to follow almost the exact same plot line and stuff, just with little trinkets, different and stuff like that, which, again, I'll be just fine with. And stuff, making it more of a reboot than a series of sequels. But I'm more interested to see what they do with the spin-off series, specifically the Han Solo one. Even though I think you're getting into how are you going to cast somebody supposedly a younger version, to play a classic character like that. I think they're setting themselves up for failure, but I'm interested to see how they do it and what they do with it.
So overall, the movie, let's say on like a 10-point scale, you'd give it
strong 7.
That's like a 7.7, 7.8,
7.5. We'll stick it right in the middle. All in all, it's still outstanding visual effects. Any movie scored by John Williams, you'll get your price of admission just on the soundtrack alone. Classical music, you don't have to be a fan. It's nothing but orchestra and stuff, but still incredibly moving. It just adds something to it. Especially with the way theater systems are now. You spent the whole, most of the movie, anytime there was loud, dramatic music, just shaking, just rumbling. Loved it, and stuff. So, great potential, plenty of it, but just having characters back and the storyline back. You know what? I would be one of the rare people that, you could ask me to rank even the prequels, I'll probably still give them a high 6. Even though I know I would be one of the ones. I still enjoyed them. I still clap when those damn just the whole series in itself. So much part of my youth and growing up. You can't beat it and stuff. So what about you?
So you're a fanboy.
I am.
You're a fanboy.
Yeah.
Well, I like Star Wars. I'll try to get some of this together. I liked it too. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. A lot of that is a product of all the hype that was
definitely hype. But I bought into it. I was guilty.
Well, I get that. It's just even after all that hype, and then everyone and their brother that I know that went and watched it. Oh my god, it's so good. Blah, blah, blah. And you look at the reviews online and stuff. I didn't read any of them obviously because I don't want to know anything really about it. But just the scores. The score's really high. pros and cons. I'll start with the things that I liked. I liked the pacing of the film. There's a lot of in the prequels, and certainly the 4, 5, and 6, especially 4. There's some pacing issues where there's a little bit of dragging and developing, and there's not really a whole lot going on. Where this was nonstop action, pretty much.
Yeah.
There was constantly a character being developed or shit being blown up. It felt like, or some sort of conflict. So that was good. I thought the pacing, and it keeps, especially for today's day and age, your microwave society type of folks and the younger crowd. I think it's good to do that. So I like that. I liked all the new characters. I know there were definitely some things, some issues, some things about the film that didn't make a whole lot of sense in terms of those characters. But Poe was cool. Obviously, he wasn't in the film that a whole lot. He bugged out for 65%, 70% of the
Well,
movie.
I think he's supposed to be playing a central role in the
He'd be a
Rogue
strong
One.
character in the next
the
one.
Rogue One, the spin-off. I think
Right.
he's supposed to be a
Yeah,
central
whatever.
character in the spin-off.
Yeah. Well, I don't give a shit at all about the spin-offs, but I just want to see the movies. But anyway, I think he's a cool character. I really liked Finn a lot. I mean, a ton. Finn was like almost a modern day, like a friend of here in this universe, 2016 now. Like just a guy you would talk to, just the way he interacted with the environment around him, the way it was like, okay, it made him almost a relatable character, even though he was, raised from birth to be a killing machine or whatever, and decided not to do that.
And you don't have more of his backstory, which is certainly something to look forward to.
Right.
So,
Well, and that's what's cool is Finn is kind of is you in the movie, almost like, hey, this is what I would have done. Like, I've decided I'm not going to kill all these people, and then, okay, I'll go along with this girl on this adventure, because if not the Empire, but the First Order comes back for me, they're going to kill me. Like, he does exactly, and you kind of experience things, with him the way you would as if you were in. He's very, I guess, interactive almost in that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And he also is part of my, probably, I know it's kind of stupid, but probably my favorite scene in the film, where they're about to sneak into the Starkiller base and try to blow it up. And Harrison Ford is asking him, so what'd you do for the First Order? And he's like, oh, I was in sanitation. He's like, sanitation? And he's like, well, how do you know how to blow this thing up? He's like, well, I don't. He's like, we'll use the Force. And Harrison Ford's like, the Force? That's not how the Force works. I loved that part. I love Rey. I know some of her, powers and stuff. Maybe they'll elaborate on that in the next film about somehow the Force was dormant, and that's why it's called The Force Awakens, and
maybe
it explodes back up. But it didn't make a whole lot of sense. I know that she had these powers all of a sudden, but I still really liked. I liked the fact that she was a young, fit, attractive woman, but they didn't sexualize her at all. It was just, she's a tough, scrappy.
you can say that, but still one of my favorite moments as a teen. There's still going to be Princess Leia in the gold bikini.
Yeah, well,
I don't
that
care.
was the third movie when
So,
they did that, though.
okay, as
But,
long as it's coming, as long as you're telling me it's coming, so you're telling me there's a chance.
Anyway, I like that. Visually, I thought it was cool. Having the note to George Lucas, even though you're a ton older than J.J. Abrams is, and you're probably going to be retired now and not do anything, that's kind of how you should do CG. You should sprinkle it in, not use it for everything. CG isn't supposed to be, look at the greatest science fiction films of all time. Like, maybe the first Star Wars movie you made. Look at THX when you made that. Look at, American Graffiti. It's like, dude, how did you forget that you need real stuff and real people and real lines and
How about of all the movies you just listed and you left out the biggest one, there probably wasn't any reason for any kind of CG. Indiana Jones.
No, the
Come
newest
on now.
Indiana Jones.
Even that, well, that one was bad, but come
Yeah,
on,
it's
you know,
bad.
even the first and third, you know, you take the second one and the fourth one and throw them out, but you know,
You don't like Temple of Doom?
no, I really didn't.
I like Temple of Doom a lot.
Sure.
Anyway, get back to Star Wars.
Star Wars.
So I want to rip into Star Wars a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm gonna see you squirm in your seat and see your fanboy raging.
Wow! You really? If you think you can make me squirm after 5 years we're working together, you really don't know me that well.
Right.
But go ahead.
We'll see.
Go ahead.
So the things I didn't like.
Okay.
At the very beginning of the film, when Poe gets the map to Skywalker from him, and he puts it, and he's gonna, and then people start invading, so the First Order starts coming after him. So he puts that map inside of BB-8 and tells them, just to run away, get out of here. And there's a battle, and he's taking some people out, and obviously you can tell he's a competent warrior and stuff, and the stormtroopers are competent and actually killing people instead of blast them, and then miss.
Right.
So that was cool, and then he shoots that like sniper shot or whatever kind of sniper laser thing he's using, and it's that first kind of iconic scene with Kylo Ren where he just stops
the bolt right in midair.
Yeah, right in midair, and then. So he does that, he pulls Poe over, Poe says some smart ass stuff, it's funny, it's good, and then Kylo Ren orders the stormtroopers to kill all the villagers. So I was like, wow, this Kylo Ren guy is like, he's a badass initially, and he must be pretty powerful if he just sensed that bolt coming and he had the reaction time to, I'm like, this guy is not one to be trifled with.
Correct.
So they built him up. If you go back to A New Hope, the first time you saw Darth Vader, he had the music, he had the breathing, he was weird. But all he really does is kind of walk in at first, and he does lift the guy up with his hand, and choke him out. Not force choke him, but literally, pick him up, and he's like, asking this guy questions, and he can't answer because he's choking him to death, and then just throws him up against the wall. And it was like, okay, this guy's a badass, but you didn't really know necessarily even if he was human or not, or... it could have just been like a robot with robot strength lifting the guy. He didn't know about the Force. All this stuff's been established.
Right.
So in that opening sequence, it's like this guy cares not about life, and he cares, and he obviously has a strong understanding of the Force. And then he just progressively got turned more and more into a pussy as the film went on. He tried reading Rey's mind, and he couldn't. And then after that, he kind of pouts to it to Snoke, which I thought Snoke was just a stupid character too. I mean, hopefully they end up doing something. And I know Kylo Ren, Snoke, they have a high bar to live up to. You talk the Emperor and Darth Vader. Darth Vader probably being the most iconic bad guy in the history of movies. And the Emperor, I would certainly say, especially one of the things that the prequels did a service to, I would think, would be the Emperor and how manipulative and evil he is.
Yeah.
Because you don't really see him in 4, 5, and 6. You don't see him at all in 4. You see him a little bit in 5 in the holograms. And you see him in 6 being just a jackass and an evil, maniacal, crazy man. And he really eggs on Luke, and it's cool. But so I know these guys have a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
But Snoke, we'll see what happens with him. I'm not gonna write him off yet. But Kylo Ren, he does this. He does the tries to read her mind. He can't, and then she kind of pushes back, and then he kind of pouts about it to Snoke. And then later he's telling somebody else about how the longer we leave her unchecked or not knocked out or whatever the hell it is he's talking to somebody about, the longer we leave her unchecked, she's the more dangerous she becomes. While he's saying that, he simultaneously left her in a room with one guy, with one stormtrooper. It's like you're over here telling somebody about how dangerous she is. So not only is he becoming progressively more and more of a pussy, but he's also getting dumber and dumber as the film goes through.
Yeah.
Speaking of people being dumb, maybe he got that through genes from his dad Han Solo, who is this brilliant, silver-tongued, get his way out of anything, type of, smuggler who turns into a general or into this good guy, and then who ends up defaulting back to, smuggling again because his son became evil or whatever, and he's smuggling monsters and stuff. I don't know, whatever. He's a smuggler again.
Okay.
So he's lived to be as old as Han Solo is. I don't know exactly how old Han Solo is supposed to be in the films, but if he's a human or whatever, and Harrison Ford's like almost 80, he lives to be that old by getting his way out of all these precarious situations.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a conversation with his ex-wife or girlfriend or whatever, and Leia, and she's like, "Oh, go get her son back." And he's like, what he says to her, or they have some sort of conversation, and Leia says, "Hey, look, Luke is a Jedi, but you're his father." And at that point, I'm like, yeah, you're his father. You're just his father. I'm like, Luke is a Jedi and couldn't stop him. Like, what are you gonna do? So I'm thinking, okay, maybe Han Solo's gonna think some brilliant scheme to somehow, but no, they get in there, they break in, they plant all those explosive charges, they walk up, and then he's just like, "Hey, Ben," and he just walks up to him. He gets this close to him.
He does,
and he's like, "Hey, put that lightsaber down and quit being a brat and come home," or whatever. And he's like, "Okay," and then he it's like Han Solo. Nothing about Han Solo's character, to me, would indicate that he would ever be dumb enough to just walk up to an evil Sith Lord, even if it is his son. Does Han Solo strike you as the type of person who would be a sucker for somebody who's blood related to him, just to try to turn him back? I mean, do you think he'd be dumb enough? I'm sure he would care about him, because we all know Han Solo is
a caring person.
He is a caring person.
In his own way.
Right.
And stuff, so.
But would he be dumb enough to walk up to a supposed, evil Jedi, Sith Lord, whatever you want to call him, maybe he's obviously not a Sith Lord, because he's, like I said, progressively becomes more and more of a little bitch throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But would Han Solo have done something like that?
Would he?
He did.
Yes. And yes, he would. And the only way I know how to answer this, and I think you will become more understanding of it. and I only mean this into the fact of that you're a parent. And
I know you're a sucker for your kids.
You have no choice in it. I mean, you really do not, and stuff. So there's it is the only thing that necessarily defines rationality. Anything else? I mean, if your kids need you, that's it. I mean, you will do anything in your power. You will hate it. You will hate yourself for it. You will do things that will, ruin you financially. You will do things that will, keep you up at night. You will do things that,
Okay. So you're saying if one of your daughters was like the most dangerous person on the planet and was like a known serial mass murderer,
and if there was something that I had, you say that now, you absolutely say that, but there have been so many times that I have wanted to, not so many times, my kids have always been for the most part fairly good, but there have been times where I have not wanted to be there for them, and that there is no way in hell that I should have been there for them, that they got themselves into a mess, and it's, I raised them better than that. They should have been able to, not get themselves in that situation, but nevertheless, there it was.
Right.
To find all reason, to find all logic, to find everything I even said. There's no way that if they need this, that they're going to get it from me. That's not, they know that, no. And there I am, helping out. So, is it, but nevertheless, is it a plot hole? Yes.
Yeah.
And do I agree with it? Yes. But then again, if he really only wanted to be in one movie and you had to find a way to kill him off, then this is how you got to go. Is it the greatest? Is it the greatest way for him to go? Is it the way that I would have wanted to see? If Han Solo had to go out, I wanted to see him go out in the damn blaze of glory. gun blazing, blaster blazing.
Speaking of gun blazing, Han Solo was using that Wookiee bowcaster, and then, obviously Chewbacca was using it a decent amount and just blowing people to smithereens. Right after Han Solo dies, Chewbacca gets all emotional and upset, obviously so.
Well,
takes a shot at Kylo Ren and hits him in the side, and just kind of, that's it. We just watched that.
You couldn't watch him sniper. Well, but he stops a sniper shot earlier.
Right, he couldn't stop the shot. Which, okay, maybe he's thinking about. He's not in tune with the Force at the moment because he's struggling with the fact that he just murdered his dumbass father. Mm-hmm. But so I get that. That's like an excuse. But he gets shot with that bowcaster that you just saw, like dozens of people getting blown away like it's a grenade launcher. It hits him in the side, and he's like, and he's just like, pounding it. He's bleeding a little bit later. Like, this was just blowing people up. He hits you in the side, center mass.
You're
They just like,
Yeah, you weren't going to get a perfect movie and stuff. And nor did I expect
need a perfect movie. It's just that even episode 1, 2, and 3, with the exception of like midichlorians and the end of 3 when it's over, Anakin, I have the high ground, because they had to somehow have Obi-Wan defeat Anakin, because at that point Anakin should have been way stronger than Obi-Wan anyway.
Yes.
But whatever. Other than those they all still kind of, there's not a whole lot in them that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I guess. Again, I understand it's not going to be a perfect movie and I didn't expect it to be. But logistically, it's some of the other things that don't make a whole lot of sense. Like Starkiller Base blows up 5 planets at a time.
Yes.
And you have this like ginger kid, who to me looks like he's about 25 years old or something. For some reason, has some sort of serious like Hitler hatred towards everyone and everything. And he's also the guy who's responsible for raising all these, because they're not clones anymore. Mm-hmm. He raises all these stormtroopers to be, killing machines from birth, right? Takes them from their... Well, how does he do that if he's 25 years old? And Finn looks like he's about 25 years old. Mm-hmm. So as an infant, this guy was ripping babies from mothers and fathers and raising them to be...
Well, these are alien life forms, so they don't necessarily.
They're all humans, though.
They're all carbon based. They're all carbon based.
So they're all aliens.
How do I know? Okay, I haven't watched
it doesn't make sense.
You're preaching to the choir.
And then in the film, when they blow up those 5, they blow up 5 planets at a time. 5 at the same time.
Yes.
And all that's really said, or really nothing's really said. It's just you get like 30 seconds of sad faces from some people. Like, ooh. And then they all move on and get back to the characters. And it's like, 5 planets. 5 of them were just blown up. 5.
Okay.
And it's like the least significant thing that happens in the film. 5 planets just got blown up.
But again, you're basing this on our universe, where planets don't necessarily blow up all the time. Maybe in this universe, planets blowing up is more of a daily occurrence.
No, it's not a daily occurrence.
They've been desensitized
it happened with the Death Star.
They desensitized. That was 30 years ago. It's Death Stars. It's the world of Death Stars now.
Man.
Hell, there was 2 Death Stars in the Star Wars original things. Now admittedly, the prequels were the prequels.
One planet got blown up. It felt like a pretty big deal. Obi-Wan's like staggering, because he senses a disturbance.
Yeah, okay. And then what happened 5 minutes later? He's still teaching Luke more stuff. He didn't go off, sulk about it. Cry. You know what? I can't teach you for another month or 2 because I'm in mourning of the planet dying. Right. The action continues. It moves on. It's a movie. That's what has to happen. That's what has to happen.
I just feel like there could have been.
Otherwise, you're going to sit there bitching. Now you didn't like the pace of the movie because they spent too much time. They spent too much time mourning the 5 planets. They should have just moved it on.
They should have spent more time, not necessarily mourning over the planets, but explaining what planets those were
and why they didn't care about it.
Why they got blown up.
Because they were all a bunch of Washington Redskin fans.
Yeah, well, you can't say that. It's because, like, they had an allegiance with the Resistance or the New Republic or whatever. I don't know. But it just makes no sense. You have this guy with the Hitler complex, because to me it seems like that's the guy who should be learning how to do evil Sith Lord stuff. Is the guy who's blowing up 5 planets at a time, not the guy who's struggling to understand why he can't read 18-year-old girl's mind, and then leaves her in a room with one stormtrooper by
God, wouldn't we all like to be able to read 18-year-old girls' mind?
All right. Anyway, but overall,
good, not
I like
great.
the movie. I liked it. It's funny you said 7.5 because that's probably what I would have given it to. I like the new characters a lot. I wasn't so keen on the very ending with Luke. I thought it was kind of silly. I didn't have a problem with Luke. I had a problem with Rey. The fact that Rey was just holding out a lightsaber and just keeps holding it and staring at him. Like, at what point is she going to be like, are you going to fucking take this? Or, I mean...
Well, that's how the next movie's going to start.
Yeah.
Are you going to fucking take this?
I've been holding on to this for, the 1.5 years it's taken for this movie to be released.
Why do you think I didn't take it with me? I didn't want the fucking thing. Keep it.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
And they say it's Luke's saber. Well, it's actually not Luke's saber. It's Anakin's. It was Anakin's. It's the blue one. It's not his.
Luke made his own.
Luke did make his own. It's the green one.
So
that was the blue one.
It's been years. It loses its power, it changes color.
No.
The battery is dead. It
Okay.
needs a new energizer. Before you know it, the pink bunny's going to be coming in there. It's going to change color.
Yeah.
Everything's all right with the world.
Yeah.
So, that's also the way movies go nowadays. Product placement.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
don't be surprised to find the pink
Some
energizer
Pepsi-
bunny making
some
its
Pepsi
way in there.
in your,
Space Pepsi. Yeah,
Space Pepsi. All right.
So okay, well. Hey, Ian, you asked. This is what happens when you only give us one question. We spend a half an hour talking about Star Wars. So come up with another question or two and stuff. So
at least
let me get into my second beer. Boo. So,
all right. Anyway, that's what we think of Star Wars. I guess.
That's it.
Case closed.
Thank you.